All right. Hello, everyone. Good morning. My name is Jocelyn Rubeck. I am president of CBT's Student Advisory Council here at NEIU. It is my honor to welcome each and every one of you to our annual International Business Conference. Your presence here today is truly appreciated, and I would like to express my gratitude for taking time to join us in this exchange of ideas and insights. Being part of the team that organized this conference has been an incredible experience. Witnessing the collaborative efforts and dedication of everyone involved has been nothing short of amazing. The impact of this event on our students is immeasurable, providing them with valuable perspectives and knowledge that extend beyond the classroom. I extend a heartfelt thanks to our esteemed speakers for sharing their expertise with us, and a special appreciation to Tracy Payne, our keynote speaker. Now, without further ado, please join me in welcoming Dr. Michael Bedell, Dean of the College of Business and Technology, who will share a few short words with us. Thank you.
Good morning, everybody. Glad to see you're here skipping classes. Sorry. I'm delighted to be here this morning with y'all. As mentioned, I'm Mike Bedell. I'm Dean of the College of Business and Technology. And I'm really proud of this conference because this is the 23rd year that we've done a student-run, student-organized, student everything business conference. And it's taken various themes over the years as it's evolved. And every year there's new ideas for the next one. I'm looking forward to today and on into the future. You know, the whole student run, student organized, et cetera. I mean, what better way to take your business and tech education and apply it? You know, this is a great way to practice. There's a ton of logistics involved. There's a ton of where you must be social. In other words, reaching out to speakers and figuring out how do I, what do I do to convince that person to come in and talk? That's something that, oftentimes we hear our students aren't prepared to do, but, here's one more opportunity where they can practice. And so I just love this conference for that value that it adds to our students each year. I guess the other thing I need to do is take a moment and introduce a good friend, our interim president, Dr. Katrina Bell-Jordan. Her bio is in the program, so I'm not going to read it to you. But suffice it to say, she's been at NEIU for a long time. She loves NEIU like we all do. And she's been a great supporter and a great partner, whether department chair, dean, I guess associate dean, and now interim president. She's been a great supporter of the college, and we thank her for that. So without taking too much more time, I will simply introduce my good friend, Dr. Katrina Bell-Jordan, and ask her to come up and give the opening remarks.
Good morning, everyone. How are you today? And thank you to my colleague, Dean Bedell. It is truly a pleasure to be here this morning and to welcome you to Northeastern for those of you who are here and are joining us online. I can't believe it's the 23rd conference over the last 27 years that I've been here. Then for the majority of the time that I've been here, we've had this opportunity for our business students to show their leadership and show their preparedness for the industries that they will be taking. And so being here today in the role of interim president, it is truly a pleasure to welcome our faculty, our staff, and our students and other guests who will be joining us over the course of the day. As Dean Bedell described, this is a really special conference. And each year, the College of Business and Technology does gather industry professionals and experts in the field of international business to participate with our students. And this program is indeed tailored for our students and by our students to increase their understandings of the global business landscape and to assure their preparation for success in this ever-changing and expansive dynamic context. Now, since the launch of the International Business Conference at NEIU in 2002, it has become a key symposium. We are proud that it is one of the university's signature programs. The conference brings together, as you'll see this year, a diverse group of speakers to engage in a diverse array of topics that help our students connect their academic study to their career goals and to equip them with the kinds of skills that we know they will need to thrive, you will need to thrive and grow in your professional lives. Organized by the College of Business and Technology Student Advisory Council, this conference is driven by the energy and enthusiasm of our student leaders, and it elevates the importance of their vision, your vision, for the kind of professional development and opportunities that we know and that you believe will encourage and inspire your growth as professionals. This is truly centered in particular in focusing on creating opportunity for active interaction among students at all levels and across a variety of different business fields to focus on, how they can learn from these industry experts, to provide insights and perspectives, and to share advice, for these folks to share advice that will be formative and supportive of our students' own educational and professional journey. And it's important to note that whether our students are majoring in business, economics, or any professional field, this is a key conference to help support and grow leadership across the spectrum. This year's theme, the 2024 International Business Conference, focuses on the decade that lies ahead and the business world and the global world that we will face on an international scale over the next 10 years. So when you take a look at the program that's online, you'll see that from this year's conference program, there's an excellent lineup of concurrent sessions. And with that, on behalf of the faculty, students, and staff of Northeastern, I would like to thank the leadership and energy behind all of this work and the lineup of talent that you're going to have access to today. First of all, I would like to thank College of Business and Technology Dean Michael Bedell, Dr. Tung Koo, our Assistant Professor of Accounting, Business Law, and Finance, as well as the faculty and staff of the College of Business and Technology for their stewardship of the college and ongoing commitment to advancing the professional development and success of your students, our students, Northeastern students. I'd also like to thank Jocelyn Rubeck, NEIU marketing student and president of the American Marketing Association and CBT Student Advisory Council. She's still back there working even while she's getting her appreciation here. As well as the volunteers. You all don't see the number of folks from across the university who quietly support the development of a program of outstanding speakers and panelists each year. And it's their contributions that make the conference a success as well. As a point of not just college privilege, but personal privilege, as a former mentor and friend of mine as well, I'd like to offer special recognition to the late Durwood Huffler, Distinguished Professor Emeritus of Marketing and Management in the College of Business and Technology, who helped create the annual International Business Conference and served as its advisor until 2017.
I'm like, what are these notes? I love it. Hello, everyone. Hello. Happy afternoon to everyone. My name is Jessica Mueller. I am the Executive Director of Business Innovation, Adult Ed, and Advancement within the College of Business and Technology. And I'm happy to have you here today, along with my friend and a speaker we've had on campus before. If you missed him, you missed out. So today you get to join him for his exciting content. He's a very dynamic speaker, and I'm happy that you are here with us today. I also, before I introduce Marty, I wanted to share that I run the Business Innovation and Growth Center, and I manage that. I have a table out here that helps individuals start their own business from the back of a napkin all the way to a 25-page business plan. And we help you through all of the kind of roadblocks that you might encounter when you're starting your own business. And we walk you through all of those things to make sure that you have a feasible business plan, are comfortable going out for discussions on investment, and are just like really owning that space for yourself. So if you have any interest in that or have any business plans, we can talk about it. The graduate student who is helping manage the Bronzeville location, which is our one of our campuses in Bronzeville, is Mirza in the back. So if you have any questions too, if you want to raise your hand, he can help field some of those. So without further ado, I want to welcome Marty Jalove. He is a happiness instigator, communication coach, and master of human connection, whose credentials extend beyond the conventional into the realm where transforming lives is the norm and sparking joy is the method. With a rich legacy of spanning over 2 decades in sales and marketing, Marty has mastered the art of forging meaningful connections to empower and drive results that resonate far and wide. His celebrated presence across numerous chambers of commerce and associations signify a shared dedication to nurturing cross-cultural dialogue and unlocking potential in all spheres. Now you guys are going to love this. An enthusiast on the airwaves and with his insightful radio show and podcast, Bacon Bits, which is an actual bacon character, look it up, with Master Happiness. Marty turns the mundane into extraordinary, leading a symphony of positivity and enlightenment for seasoned and aspiring entrepreneurs. His multifarious, could have been a typo, roles as an artist, writer, poet, and philosopher mingle with his human-first approach to leadership, making him a beacon for those seeking motivation. It is this tapestry of creativity and compassion that has crowned him an indispensable voice in the symphony of global discussions. And I will also add, as I know I've read a bio such as this before, it's a test. It's a test he puts out there, because there's a lot of tongue twisters in this bio. As he stands before us today, ready to impart wisdom accrued from a lifetime of study, interaction, and relentless pursuits of joy, let us open our hearts and minds to the possibility that lies within mastering happiness. So through laughter, improvisation, and a touch of philosophical brilliance, Marty Jalove demonstrates that our quest for international insight and business acumen is also a quest for self-discovery and collective jubilance. The art of influence today, mastering marketing and sales, is not just selling, it's storytelling, is a workshop that is going to dive into the heart of sales and marketing using relatable anecdotes and metaphors to reveal how these skills can shape your career journey. So I would like to extend a warm welcome to a luminary in happiness and human interaction, a true master of craft of teaching us to excel amid our diverse world, Marty Jalove, Master Happiness.
That was beautiful. That was beautiful. Did you write that yourself?
No, no, I didn't. Thank you, Marty.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you very much for having me. You know, I'm going to be wandering around a lot, so I speak loud. The microphone picks me up occasionally, but I'm going to make sure that I'm speaking loud enough for people back there. Yeah, I see this microphone. I just hate carrying things. That's not on. Oh, there it is. Can you hear me? Wow. This is amazing. Now I get to hear myself. So again, my name is Marty Jalove. My company is Master Happiness. And I formed this company quite some time ago because I got tired of watching people either at school or on the job where they just hated what they were doing. They had nothing to look forward to. They just thought every day was mundane and a repeat of the day before. So I said, how do you change this up? How do you make every day something amazing and something special? What could you possibly do in your future or plan to do in your future to give you something to look forward to, something so amazing, something so incredible that you can't even sleep at night because you're giddy about tomorrow? I concentrate on Mondays, and I concentrate on this whole idea that I want to make Mondays your fun day. I want to make Mondays the exciting day in your life. I want you to look forward to it. In other words, I don't want you every Sunday night as you're going to sleep, I want you to go, I can't fall asleep because I'm looking forward to tomorrow morning. So I said, I dug deep down inside my soul and I said, what would have to happen? What would I have to promise myself tomorrow morning so that I'm looking forward to it? I can't fall asleep. And for me, the answer was bacon. Okay. Now it might be a little different for everybody else, and I'm assuming it's going to be a little different for everyone else. But bacon to me was this. Bacon is this magical food that everything bacon touches makes it just a little bit better, right? You know, you can put bacon around other types of meat. You can sprinkle bacon on salads. You can sprinkle bacon on ice cream. I don't really care, but I look forward to it. I love the smell of bacon. I love the taste of bacon. I love the sound bacon makes when it's frying, that like there's an audience cheering me on. Okay. My wife knows that on the weekends when I'm trying to sleep in at night or sleep in the morning, she cooks bacon because that lofty smell comes up into the bedroom, tickles my nose, lifts me off the bed, and I slide down the stairs, not even touching a step. I'm just floating with the aroma of bacon. And just as I get down there, she goes, no bacon yet. First, you've got to go mow the lawn, or you've got to. She knows how to motivate me. And I want you, and I hope today we are able to reach down deep in each one of your souls to find your inner bacon. All right. Now, just really quickly, bacon is not just something for chewing. Bacon is something for doing. Bacon is an acronym I use all the time, and it stands for this. And I want you to think about this. Bacon is this.
No, I forgot the remote earlier, so I could return it. Just want to let you.
Who's that? All right. This is cool because you're going to really have to pay attention because you're going to be listening to two presentations at the same time. Okay. So bacon is an acronym. Bacon is an acronym I want you to think about. BACON. So B means believe in yourself. And I know we've always heard this. You know, our parents have said, oh, you're such a boy or girl. Believe in yourself. You're going to turn into something wonderful. But I want you to really take that into heart. Believe in yourself because you are all individuals. You are all something wonderful, something incredible. You have some inner bacon in you that is dying to be released. That's the B. The A is this: anticipate obstacles. No matter what goes on in your life, you have to anticipate these obstacles. Things are going to get in your way. Things are going to try to stop you, whether they're physical obstacles, people, competition, etc. Anticipate those obstacles. That's the only way to beat them. And the way we beat them is C, confront your fears. This is what's so important. Our biggest obstacle in life is our own fear. We put these obstacles up ourselves. We get in our own way. And that fear is something we need to confront in order to beat those obstacles. And you say, all right, well, how do I do that? If I'm afraid and this thing's in my way, we observe and learn. Because I guarantee you, as young entrepreneurs, okay, as just people, as family members, all the problems, the obstacles, the things that get in your way, other people have faced the same thing. Some people a little less, some people a little bit more. But observe and learn, and you will find solutions to all your problems. After you do that, after you do those four first letters, the believe in yourself, anticipate obstacles, confront your fears, and observe and learn. The last thing, the obligation you have is this: N, is nudge other people to do the same thing. Okay. It is your obligation. If you know something, if you learn something, if you've got some skills, some talents, some dreams, some ideas, it is up to you to share those with other people. Nudge them in the right direction. We know the difference between right and wrong. We know what the path of success really is deep in our heart, and it's up to us to nudge other people down that path. Okay. And I'm telling you, true happiness is found in that. True happiness is found in helping other people. That's why I'm here. Okay. I love looking at pictures of myself. Sure. I love listening to myself speak, but I'm mostly here because I want to help people. If I can walk out of here today knowing I've helped at least one person take a step into the future, improve their life, maybe start their own business, maybe become better at working someone, maybe improving a relationship. If I've done that, then I've been a success for today. So I want you all to think about that very powerfully. Now, you look up at this picture of the bonfire, and you know what I'm going to do is, because I'm a storyteller and I can't wear a jacket. So I hope you don't mind. I'm going to relax a little bit. All right. So you look up here at this bonfire, and I picture a bonfire 200 to 300 years ago, 200 to 300,000 years ago, when man first captured fire. All right. And I imagine cavemen sitting around the fire sharing stories. It was our first time where we shared stories going back and forth. So imagine 3 cavemen sitting around this fire talking about the hunt of the day in front of the rest of their clansmen, the rest of their tribe, the rest of their people. And they're talking about the hunt of the day. And the three cavemen, let's just give them names: Kronk, Grub, and Kevin. And only because I don't know any cavemen names. So it could have been a Kevin. So Kronk is up there going, "Oh, it was a great hunt today. You know, I led the way and we found a great warthog," right? Inspiring, right? Second one is Grub is like, "Yeah, and I got in front of you because you missed them, and I threw the spear and killed the warthog, and I brought it back." Okay, everyone's like, "Oh, we're so excited because we're eating that warthog. It's fantastic." But Kevin sits back and he goes, "I know everybody thinks I was just sitting back. I know everyone thinks that I was the third one in line. Maybe you think I was afraid to hunt the warthog, but I wasn't. Because these two first guys, they're concentrating, they're super focused on getting that warthog. They're so focused on the hunt that they're not paying attention to all the other dangers around them. Me, Kevin the caveman, play a very, very important role. I sit in the back. I'm the third man in the line because I do something very exciting. I'm watching left and right. There's saber-toothed tigers out there. There's predators behind us, to the sides of us. While these guys are hunting, I'm really doing I am doing the protecting. I'm the one most responsible for the meal we're enjoying today. Sure, they actually did the killing, but I was the one who protected all of them." Now all the cave people are like, "Wow, Kevin, I never knew you were so cool. I never knew you were so important." Okay. The reality behind it is a couple of weeks later, while Kevin is out on the next hunt and he's scribing some great stories and chiseling into stone, some saber-toothed tiger jumped out of the woods and ate him because he wasn't really paying attention. Okay. So what I mean by this is that there's a difference between marketing yourself with reality and marketing yourself saying the things you think your audience wants to hear. All right. Now let's fast forward from the 300,000 years ago to about 2,000 years ago. One of my greatest idols, Aristotle. Aristotle is still known today as the father of influence. He was the man who perfected the way to persuade. And this is what I want you to really learn. I do a lot of this where I tell you, if you can take away one thing from today, is understand the essence of what Aristotle taught us. Aristotle coined the phrase of ethos, pathos, and logos. How many people here have heard of that? Ethos, pathos, and logos? Fantastic. Okay, so we're going to talk a lot about the pathos, which is the emotional connection of stories, talking to somebody, to their heart, to their soul, getting our idea through to them, okay, in such a way that they can never forget it. We're going to talk about that in a minute, but I want to address the other two. Logos. Aristotle talked about logos, and logos was all about the logic. When I'm presenting an idea to you, a thought, a dream, I've got to do it in a logical way so that it makes sense to you. I want you to think about this and going, "Wow, here's the problem I have, and you have just offered me a solution." That's logical. Okay. The other thing is that Aristotle talked about ethos, which is your ethics, your credibility. Okay, this is what's really important. Kevin the caveman got eaten because he didn't have the real credibility. He kind of lied to his audience. So it's really important for you when you're out in business to understand your values, what you stand for. What are your lines in the sand? What are the things that you're saying? I am going to build a business, but it's going to be built on trust and love and respect and solving someone else's pain. What do I stand for? What is my credibility? How do I become the knowledge source? So you start out with that credibility. This is what I know. This is what I've learned. This is what I can offer you. And it's all based with virtue on truth and value. It's got to be based on truth, on what you can actually offer. And I speak of this because I've run into many, many salespeople throughout history that sell for the sake of selling. They create a product and they make it as cheap as possible and promote it as something absolutely wonderful just to make a profit. And what will happen is it will be a business not long-lived. You've got to base your business on that virtue, those ethics, that credibility. If you start with that whole idea of the ethos in your business, you can start building a strong business. Build then on the logos, which is the logic, where you're talking to people, you're saying, "I understand your problem. I understand your need. This is incredible. I'm going to solve those problems with these products or these solutions, or just with myself." But lastly, what you've got to do is you've got to have that extra point there, that pathos, that idea, that's something that the person falls in love with you. They love your idea. There's a passion to it. Okay, there's something deep down inside that makes you say, I've got to have this product. I've got to have this service. I've got to work with this person because there's something deep inside. There's a connection. It could be a spiritual connection, an emotional connection, a romantic connection, an intellectual connection. It doesn't really matter, but there's something deeper than the logic that's coming through. Okay, there's something more to it. Now, here's a perfect example. Most people here have some type of a vehicle, right? Everyone has some kind of a car or something. Does some people have a car? All right, a few of us. I have a car. Thank you back there. All right, I have a car because I need a vehicle. I wouldn't have been able to get here without some type of a vehicle, right? So what I need is a vehicle. But I have a red vehicle. And this has got to be the fourth small SUV that I purchased, and every single one of them is red. Red does not get me here faster. Red does not make the car more powerful. Red doesn't do anything other than it appeals to me emotionally. I like the feel of driving a red vehicle. All right. So the logic in me is get a vehicle for transportation. But the pathos in me, the emotional connection is I want something red. Think about when you're going to buy a house or checking out an apartment or finding the love of your life. There's more to it than just the logic. There's got to be something with pathos. And this is what's so very important. Now, I want to tell you how this type of thing, the stories that we're going to add to our process. Remember, we are selling all the time. So you take a look at this. This is about marketing and sales. You are selling all of the time. Every single day you are selling, whether you are selling just by a quick appearance when someone looks at you and says, wow, this person is unkempt, or they look really sharp. You are selling with the words you say. You are selling with the face you make. I mean, how many of us have seen someone, because I know no one here would do this, but how many people here have seen someone look at someone and just kind of go, ooh, like that, and just kind of make that face because they're looking down upon somebody else. Okay. Again, I said, I'm sure nobody here has done that, but we've seen people who do that. As soon as that happens, anyone who watches you do this makes a judgment about you. Okay. So I encourage you to keep a smile on your face constantly. Come up with a positive attitude towards life. Life is short. You can live it sad. You can live it angry. You can live in fear, or you can live in happiness. I choose to live in happiness. A long time ago, I had what I call the aha moment. Okay, where I kind of realized, I took a look at so many people were sad and afraid and angry all the time. And I was like, I don't want to fall into that. I don't want to be like that. So I have what I call the aha moment, AHA, anticipate happiness always. So every time I walk into a debate, an argument, I meet a potential client, I see someone coming at me very angry. I anticipate happiness always. And I encourage you to do this. It's not easy sometimes. Sometimes it's very difficult. But I encourage you to do this. Walk in and say, you know what? I have the opportunity to solve a problem. I have the opportunity to meet a new friend. I have the opportunity to sell myself, to sell my product, to sell my service. I've got to come at it with a positive attitude every single time. So I anticipate that happiness always, never not anticipating happiness. Okay, how many people here have gone to like the DMV or the post office or dealt with some type of a government entity, and they get this attitude of, oh, those people who work there, they're always angry, they're always a scowl on their face, right? I'm seeing a bunch of people nodding their heads. So I work with the Lake County clerk's office, and I work with their team, and I tell them, isn't it sad that everyone who walks in having to pay their taxes or pay a fine or something like that looks at you and they take their hate, their vile out on you, the clerk, and all you're doing is the job, right? And they're like, yeah, Marty, it weighs on us. Okay, I talk to the local postman at the post office, right? I could drop letters off in the mailbox, but I like going into the post office and talk to the people. And I see them and they're frowning. They're like, oh, day after day, everyone's going, oh, the cost of stamps. Oh, my tax bill is so high. They go on and on and on, and they complain and they take it out on these people. But I tell them, turn it around. You be the beacon of light for every one of them. Be that fire within. Turn that around and be the reason they're happy. Your whole job is about solving a problem. Every one of you who is going to go into business, whether you're an entrepreneur, working for someone else, starting something from scratch, every one of you is starting a business or doing something like that in order to solve a problem. And the problem could be as small as an angry customer walking your way. If you're not willing to solve that problem, how can you possibly say that you can sell a product? Your product, your service, your ability, your talents, your gifts are all solutions to someone else's problems. So concentrate on a mindset that every day I'm going to solve somebody's problem. I'm going to take away somebody's pain. That's the important thing. And the way to do that, the way to make it most memorable is through storytelling. So this is how I'm going to wrap up all of this marketing and sales together in saying the most powerful thing you can do is share stories, because they connect with us at an emotional level. They make an imprint on our brain that we never forget. Now, I'm not going to call anyone, but I want everyone to think for a moment about your earliest memory, a childhood memory, something when you were very young, something that you can think about, the oldest memory you can have. I talk to some people and they're like, I can't even remember what I had for breakfast. I want you to go back a little further than that. What's the oldest memory you can think of? I'll give you about 3 seconds left, because it shouldn't be that difficult to pick up a memory. The memory I've always get is this: when I was a little kid, even more adorable than I am now, but a little kid, right? And it was my birthday, and my aunt was in the bathroom with me. I was standing on the toilet and she's dressing me. She's fixing my shirt and she's like, oh, my dapper young man. And I was all excited because I was happy. I was all dressy, right? And as we walked out of the bathroom, there was a surprise party. While I was in there getting dressed, all my friends, my family, everyone was there. And it was just a joyous occasion. That's my earliest memory. And now I'm challenging you, when you think about your earliest memories, the ones that went through your mind, think about them. The ones that stick with you are the ones that are tied to some type of an emotion. Some of your memories are either going to be really joyous occasions, okay, something that made you really happy. Some of those memories are tied to fear. Something happened that really, really scared you and you didn't know what to do and you seeked help. Some of those memories were something that maybe someone really angered you or you were really confused. But all of those memories are tied to some type of an emotional connection. Now, just think about this. When I told you all to think about your oldest memory, can you all say that those memories were tied to some type of a strong emotion and that's what made you remember them? Anybody? Oh, look at the sea of hands going up. Awesome. Awesome. Yes, exactly. For those of you who are saying, well, oh, no, I didn't know we were actually supposed to think of memories. Yes, that was the job. You were supposed to think of a memory. And I'll tell you, if you really put some concentration to it, you're going to see it's tied to an emotion. I want you to do this. Now, it's got to be more than just an emotion. It's got to be more. It's got to be about the way that you talk, the way that you present it. Now, I have a brother, a younger brother of mine, very proud of him. He's a Chicago fireman, right? And he actually does air water rescue. He's one of those goofballs that jump out of the helicopter into Lake Michigan. Sometimes when it's frozen, he jumps in, swims under the ice to save people. Right? Think about that. What an incredibly heroic type person he was, right? Just incredible. He's in the midst of retiring now. But his stories all the time, he would talk about these things, about what he was doing and how he would have to actually, like I said, dive off of, jump off of a helicopter in a scuba suit into a hole in the ice, swim under the ice to save someone, right? At that same time, I was working in the security industry. For our customers, mostly locksmiths. And I was doing things of going, look, I just came up with this new machine for cutting keys. We would walk into a party and you would sit there going, I'm going to talk about cutting key blanks, right? And he would talk about saving people in the lake, right? The difference was my brother was not a storyteller. I was. And he would look at me and goes, I don't understand how people are flocking around you to hear about that newest key blank and how much nickel is in the brass to make it just a little harder and what we can do with this and going on and on and on. And he goes, I just saved 2 people out of the frozen water. And I'm like, yeah, but you just don't know how to present it. So I want you to learn that it's more than just the emotion. It's how we present, how we deliver it. And you're going to be saying to yourself, okay, that's all great. I love that, but I need to know how to do this. Because it's one thing for me to share this with you, but how are you going to do this? How can you actually do this? How can you make this whole thing happen? So I'm going to give you 2 different hacks, 2 different ways to learn this, and I'm going to show you how you apply this to your business. Now, you know how I just explained to you about this bacon idea. Bacon is my brand. Bacon is the thing that people remember me for. Some people call me Mr. Sizzle. Some people call me Master Happiness, Mr. Happiness. I go by a lot of monikers, and I am a business coach, and I've dealt with crowds of people with multiple business coaches, and I'm the one that they come to and they go, oh yeah, you're Mr. Happiness. I know you. I want to talk with you because I've come up with a way to stand out. And I want you to find out what your bacon is, what your thing is, what makes you stand out. Now, my radio show that I do every week for now more than a couple of years, every single Monday night, I do this radio show. And what I do is I come up with another acronym for bacon, BACON, to solve another problem. So I paint myself in this corner of I'm going to force bacon on the world. Okay. And so I do this because this is my brand. This is what separates me from everybody else. So I want you to find your brand. Now you're going to say, okay, but Marty, you got a lot of stories. And I'm like, yeah. It's amazing the amount of stories I have. I can tell you some stories about the time I visited my oldest brother, Art, in Kansas City when I was a young businessman and he was an experienced one. And we got to meet there on we were two separate business trips. I can talk about my sister, Linda, my next oldest sister, who I love dearly, and how we act and support each other at somebody's funeral. Sometimes we laugh a little bit too hard at a funeral, but it's our support group towards each other. It's how we work together. I can tell you about my brother, Charlie, who was the first person to ever hire me when I was a young kid. He worked at a company, he brought me in, so he mentored me. I can talk about my brother, AJ, who during school, he was my brother who's a little bit older than me, tough and strong, right? And he was the guy who made sure no bully ever picked on me. I can talk about my sister, Mary, who is near and dear to my heart. And she's one of those kind of people that if you give her $1, she will give you 2 back because she feels like you need it more than she does. Okay. And of course, I mentioned my brother, Joe, my youngest brother. I can tell stories about all these people because I do one of these things. I start cataloging my stories. So I encourage you to do this. I encourage you to start cataloging stories. I encourage you to start, take your phone out in your notes, maybe write it down on a piece of paper, but start writing down stories. And rather than writing the whole story, come to yourself and say, how am I going to connect these stories? I have my son, Luke, and I'm going to say Luke and the drill. That's all I have in the notes because I know that story. I'm going to say my daughter, Katie, and the gray car. That's all it is because I know the story. The story is near and dear to my heart. I encourage you to find people in your life, places you've been, and an emotion, a connection, an emotion. If I were to tell you this, let me grab somebody from the audience. You don't mind being picked on, do you? Yes. All right. Let me just ask you, pick somebody in your life, anybody in your life. Just tell me, a friend, an uncle, your father, your mother, whatever. Tell me someone, just shout out a name. Anybody, it could be somebody you just met today. Your boss at work. Awesome. Perfect. All right. Now I want you to come up with an emotion, either, and we'll narrow it down to these 4: happiness, fear, anger, or sadness. Pick one. Fear. Awesome. Now I want you to take a moment and think about this. Has there ever been a time that you worked with your boss that either you felt fear, either you saw him feel fear or her feel fear, or you saw somebody be fearful and together you solved the problem? And you don't have to recite the story, but I just want you to say, yes, it has happened, or no, I can't think of a thing. All right. But somewhere in the past. So what you would end up doing is you would end up sharing that story and put it down, put your boss's name, and you'd write fear. Okay. And now you've got a story. And what you end up doing is then after you write the story and you think about it, you say, how can I apply that story? Where can I apply the story? And I'll give you a perfect example. I'm going to tell you the story about my son, Luke, and the drill. Now, when I was growing up, I loved my father so much. I wanted to emulate him. Anything my father did, I wanted to do too. So he liked to work with his hands. He liked to cut wood and build things, right? And so I would go in the garage with him and he'd build things. And I was a little kid and I was right next to him. And I always wanted to do stuff. And he would take these pieces of wood and he would drive nails in them part of the way. And he'd give me a hammer and I'd just sit there and hammer nails in, like, because I was being productive. I was like his man, right? I was so excited. When I got older and my dad had passed away and he had been gone for many years and I had a son, my son, Luke, I had a garage and I had plenty of tools and I'm doing stuff and I wanted to recreate that. So I told my son, Luke, come on out in the garage with me. Come on, I want to show you some of these tools. I want you to see what it's like to build something with your hands, to take just pieces of scrap wood, cut them, fabricate them into something amazing. This is something your grandfather did, the man you never met. I want to show you this. And he was like, no, I don't want to do that. I was like, no, this is amazing. You're going to absolutely love this. You're going to take just plain pieces of wood that look like nothing. We're going to cut them and carve them and shape them into something incredible. And he's like, no, I don't really want to do that. And I was like, well, at least come and hang out with me. Look at what I'm doing and just maybe you'll fall in love with it. And he's like, oh, do I have to? Right. And you're talking about a kid probably about 7 years old. Right. So I make him come out there and we're doing some stuff. And that's when I got this idea. I looked up on the wall and I had what's called an auger. It's a special drill that you push down and you just turn with your hand. It's not an electric drill, right? It's a little hand tool. And I had gotten this from somebody else, but I said, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to create a story about that auger. And I would tell my son, do you want to do any of this work? And he was like, no, I don't want to do any of this, right? So I pulled that auger down and I said, let me show you how this auger works. It's really cool. You push it down on wood, you turn it, and look at the way it starts drilling a hole. And he goes, I don't care, right? And it's killing me because this is a memory I had with my father. I want to share with my son. I want this legacy to continue, right? So I create the story. I go, well, you know what, Luke? This drill, this auger is not actually mine. And he was like, yeah. And I go, it's actually yours. And he goes, what do you mean? I go, when I was about your age, and remember, I was making up the story. When I was your age, my father handed this to me and he said, Martin, this is not for you. One day you will have a son and tell him that this drill is for him. Tell him that this drill is from his grandfather who he'll never meet. Tell him I'm giving it to him with love. And I handed him the drill and he looked at it and he looked at me and he said, tell your father I don't want it. Now, that's a story I absolutely love. It's based on truth and obviously exaggerated. I take a little story license with that, but it's important to understand that's a story that you get sucked into. You want to know where it's going, what's happening, and it ends with a little happy ending, right? Where we all kind of giggle and laugh. Think about a business situation that I would share that story with. Okay, I might share the story with me being a leader in front of a large group of people, trying to convince my people to go a certain path. And no matter how I'm trying, I still have those subordinates who aren't going to follow with me. Okay, and sometimes then as a leader, I have to realize maybe it's okay that they don't want to follow in my steps. Okay, maybe I use that story in a way of negotiating and saying that maybe telling a lie, fabricating, changing the story is not necessarily the best way to convince people to follow you. There's a number of different things I can do to use that story in a meeting to drive home a special point. Today, the point of that story is just this, that we all have those stories, all those interesting stories that we can use in many, many different ways. So I challenge you to start writing down those keys, those cool little stories, connect them with, Christy and crocheting, Megan and her pink hair. Okay. And I'm going to continue this list in my phone. And what I do is before I go into a sales conference, before I walk up on a stage and talk to people, before I walk into a networking event, I scroll through that list of stories I've got and I prepare myself and I make those fresh in my mind. All right. I get those right up in the front of my mind. So when I'm talking to somebody and someone mentions something, I have an instant connection. I'm like, oh, you know what? That reminds me of an interesting story. And I start sharing the story. And this is how I become a memorable part in a networking group where people are like, oh, here's Marty. He's always got a great story. And we are able to brand ourselves and win over a crowd. I am never, ever worried about walking into a crowd of people that I don't know. I have no problem walking up to complete strangers and just starting a conversation because I know I have a plethora of incredible stories that I want to share. So that's your first lesson. And I got to ask, how are we doing on time? Okay, excellent. Thank you. So I'm going to leave some time for everybody in case you have some questions. I'd love to expand on this. So The first thing is I want you to do is have that list of stories, right? The other thing, aside from just setting up with those stories and understanding that you can use those in the future, I also want you to realize that when you're having a bad day, when life is just beating down on you, I want you to be able to go back to those stories and read through them, and you'll laugh at the stories, and they will immediately turn your attitude around. You'll enjoy life again. I want you to really concentrate on that. Now, that's the first clue. The second one is going to be this. This is going to be a 4-part, and I want you to think about this because it makes so much sense. I'm going to explain to you how you're going to write your own stories, how you're going to make them interesting, the elements you need, and you're going to also see that when you start your business, when you want to sell a product or you want to do a commercial, you're selling a service, you're selling yourself, you're going to use the exact same formula. Because I'm going to go back to what I said. Sales and marketing are all the same thing. We are always selling ourselves. We are always marketing ourselves. We are always looking for our potential customers. We are looking for their pain. Okay. We are looking for the solution that I can offer you. So this is what I'm going to call the story hack. HACK. Okay. The story hack. So the H stands for this. I want you to think of your hobbies, your the things that are happening. Okay. Your hustle. It could be your side hustle. It's the things you're doing. This is the topic you're going to speak about. All right, that's the H. That's what I'm saying. It's your hustle, the things that are happening, your hobbies, anything like that. The A stands for your award, your achievement, your accolade, something that you were successful with in your hobby or the things that are happening around you. So think about that. Think about anything here about a hobby that you like to do. You know, I talk to some people that are like, oh, I like to play violin. Awesome. Tell me about an award or an achievement you made. Oh, I won this recital. Tremendous. Okay. Now you're on the verge of a great story. The C in hack stands for your confrontation, your conflict, your concern, the conundrum, something that went wrong, the obstacles you have to climb over in order to succeed. You didn't just get the award. You didn't just achieve something. You had to fight your way to that. So what was the thing that you had to climb over? What was the thing that was difficult for you? That's where the energy of the story comes from. Okay, so you've got your hustle, the thing you're talking about, the thing that's happening, your hobby. You've got your award or your achievement. You've got your conflict. And finally, the K is this. K is this, the kicker, the keeper, the little piece of knowledge, something that's going to make it memorable. Something, it could be a little something funny. It could be odd. For me, the keeper, the kicker that I'm always offering is I'm the bacon guy. I do a lot of the acronyms BACON because that's what separates me from everyone else. Now, when you think of that, those 4 letters, HACK, it's very simple to think about a commercial. When a commercial comes on TV, or when you see an ad in a magazine, when you are trying to sell your product or your service, the H, your hobby, the happening, the hustle is the product itself. You know, I'm selling this shampoo. Okay, this is my purpose. This is the whole idea for this advertisement. The A, the award, the achievement is the solution that it offers. What is special about that shampoo? Okay, it cleans hair, right? The C is the conflict, the concern, the conundrum, the problem we're facing, the pain that our customers are doing. I have dry, oily hair. I need someone to fix it. So the achievement is buy this shampoo and it'll do it. That in itself is not enough. You need that K, that kicker, that keeper, that piece of knowledge, something extra. So they go, oh yeah, that is different. Now I understand what you mean. That's amazing. I'm going to buy that specific type of shampoo. I'm going to buy that specific red SUV. I'm going to do this. I'm going to go along that lines. So you see, whether it's a story you're creating in yourself, about yourself that you're going to share with everyone, whether it's a story you're creating about a product you are selling, or whether it's a story you're creating about a service you're offering, you are always solving some type of a problem. And it could be a problem within you, a challenge you've had to face, or you are solving the problem of someone else's challenge. You are getting them over that mountain. And it's always going to be the same thing. The H is that thing that we're talking about, the thing that hustle, the hobby, the thing that we want to push and sell. The A is the actual achievement. The A is the thing that makes us want that product, want that service. That's the solution. The C is we drive home. What's the conundrum? What is the conflict? What is the concern? What is the fear? What is my pain? And K is the most important. Find something that differentiates you. Find something that separates you from everyone else. I work with these people. I've got clients. I'm a business consultant. I've got clients that's a plumber, another guy who does hardwood floors, a bridal company. I work with all of them. And the first thing I say is, what separates you from everyone else who's in your business? Okay. Most of you are all students here, right? What separates you as a student here than every other student? What separates you? What makes you different? What makes you stand out so that teachers, professors notice you? That they want to go out of their way. They want to mentor you. They look upon you and they say, I see something amazing within you, and I want to go the extra step and help you. What are you doing to separate yourself from the world? Imagine living in a world where everything was gray. Everyone looked exactly the same. We were all the same height, the same weight, same color hair. Okay. We all drove gray cars. We went to work with a gray building. Our homes were gray. Everything was gray. How boring life would be. I love the fact about the diversity of this university, that I think it's like in the top 10 most diverse universities in the country. It is amazing because there's an incredible culture here. What brings you all together is the fact that you're all different. Okay. But how different do you want to be? What are you doing to stand out? What are you doing to be absolutely amazing? What are you doing so people notice you? And take you, and not take you for granted, but take you seriously. That's what I want you to do. I want you to dig down deep inside that. And once you understand that and realize that's your kicker, that's your keeper, that's that piece of knowledge that separates you, I want you to start creating your story. And I'm going to drive home this one more point about the way you deliver a story. Is how many people here have been to an amusement park in their life? Bunch of people, right? Okay. In an amusement park, they have plenty of roller coasters. So just shout out a name of a roller coaster. Anybody? The Eagle? The Viper? Anyone else? There you go. So there's plenty of them. And we could go on. And I bet you if I pushed everyone, you could come up with one name of a roller coaster. Now, also in most amusement parks, they have a train. Okay. And the train sits on a track and it goes around the circle, goes around the whole thing, and you can see the park, right? How many people have ridden the train at an amusement park somewhere, right? A bunch of people. Okay. How many people know the name of the trains? Nobody, right? All right. Now, this is what I want you to think about. Are you a train or a roller coaster? Both of them, you're able to sit down, you're able to ride the tracks and go around the park. The train will go nice and slow and you'll learn everything about the park. The roller coaster takes you up to heights that you can look down and learn everything about the park. They allow you to sit down, maybe stand up, but only one forces you to buckle in. Only one is not for the faint of heart. Only one makes you nervous about it, getting involved in it. One of them is the memorable one. One of them is the expected, the mundane. Yeah, there's a bunch of trains in the world, but I want you guys to be roller coasters. And what does a roller coaster do? What does it, when you're presenting, what ends up happening? How do you start your presentation? You start off first off with that name. Okay, that idea, that opening line that pulls you in. I'm about to ride on Superman. I'm about to ride on Superman? Okay, this is amazing, as opposed to I'm about to ride on the train. Okay, so you start with that beginning, that opening where you're bringing this up. And then what happens is you get on that ride and the ride starts building slowly and you're building up and the tension is going chick, 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 as you're going up to the hill, to that first pinnacle, all the way at the top. And it's scary. Your heart is racing, right? That never happens when you're riding the train. When someone comes up here and goes, I would like to explain the difference between a train and a roller coaster. That never happens. No one gets excited about that. But when you're on a roller coaster, you're driving up and you're getting there and it's, you get to the very top and it hesitates for a moment. This is where you could feel your stomach. You feel everything inside you. You maybe start to sweat and all of a sudden, whoosh, you go down quickly, amazing. You start going up, you start spinning, you go twists and turns, back and forth. You don't even know the direction you're going in, but you gotta hold on. You need to know where this is going, what's going to happen. The excitement is so thrilling. You zip through it and you end where you started. And you're like, wow, that was amazing. You get off it, you run around and you get back in line again to do that one more time. How many people here have taken a train at some amusement park, right? Zipped around here, taken it, and it's like, man, it took 45 minutes to get around the park. And then you got off and you said, I can't wait to take the train ride again, right? Nobody does that. But everyone screams about the roller coaster. And I want you to be roller coasters. I want you to tell stories like your life is nothing but a roller coaster. Who wants to live a life like a roller coaster instead of living a life like a train? Now, granted, there are plenty of times I need to be on a train. I don't want to throw up my entire life, right? But I want the majority of our life to be exciting like that roller coaster. This is exactly what we need. I want you to do this. Now, I'm going to try to sum up the speech with what I'm saying was just like I told about the roller coaster. We come back to the beginning. Now, all I used here is one slide, one presentation of this bonfire. And I talked to you about the cavemen getting together and speaking about they're sharing stories with everybody. I want you to think about this. All I can do for you is give you this little spark. All I can do for you is just give you that one little spark. I'm giving you information that might fuel your future, but I can only give you a spark. It is up to you to turn that spark into a flame. It is up to you to turn that flame into a fire. It is up to you to turn that fire into an inferno. Make it something lasting. Make it so when people go, have you met whoever? Have you met Marty? Have you met Mr. Sizzle? Have you met Mr. Bacon? You've got to meet him. Become so memorable that you are unforgettable. Do something, every single one of you. I'm going to go back to what I said in the bacon. B is believe in yourself because all of you are absolutely incredible. I'm giving you the spark to do something wonderful. Whatever you do for a living, make it absolutely incredible. Start with that little spark. Turn it into a flame, into a fire, into an inferno. I don't care if all you do is fold napkins for a living. Make it so memorable that no one goes anywhere else for those napkins other than you. Every single person here is a winner, and I can tell you that because you're here. You wanted to take this first step and learn a little bit more. So I thank you very much for this opportunity to share with you, and I hope I lit some type of little spark within somebody. Thank you very much. Now, if you'd like, I'm here. If there's any questions, any particular questions, I'd love to answer any questions from anybody. I always love it when there's no questions. That means I gave you so much information. I've answered all your questions. You'll never have another question the rest of your life, right? I can tell you a little bit about my history just to do this. I worked in corporate America for a long time. I started out as a graphic designer. I always loved selling. Selling was a big passion of mine. So I moved into selling. That slowly allowed me to go back to school and learn more about marketing. And I became marketing. Soon I became a VP of marketing for a company. From marketing, I still loved selling. So I became VP of marketing and sales for a company. I still love to tinker. I love to touch things and build things. I got that from my father. So I became the VP of marketing, sales, and research and development. All right. I never let anything stop me from growing and evolving and becoming the best version of myself. I host a radio show. When I started this, everyone was like, what do you know about radio? I'm like, you know what? I know that I've got a message I want to share with people. So I'm going to do the radio show, and I work on a radio. I start a podcast. I do all these graphic designs. I do plenty of stuff. You'll see videos of me on TikTok. You will see videos of me on Instagram. I'm all over social media because I have a passion for it. I want to continue to learn and grow. And I drive this to you guys. I really think you can do this. Just allow yourself. You know, if I see a row of hot coals after this fire goes out, I want to walk across it. I just want to do this. I want to evolve into something amazing. I know I look forward to tomorrow because tomorrow I'm going to be this much better. I'm going to know this much more. I'm going to be a better version of myself tomorrow. And each one of you can be that same thing if you allow yourself to do it. Still no questions? Anybody? All right. Well, then thank you very much. All right. I actually like doing those little encores, so I get a round of applause 2 times. So thank you so much.